Here's a mind-blowing statistic. Heating our homes accounts for nearly 40% of global energy consumption, and most of that energy is being wasted by outdated technology that hasn't changed since the 1950s.
That's such a staggering number. And it really hits home when you think about those monthly utility bills that keep climbing higher and higher.
Well, there's this fascinating breakthrough happening with graphene technology that could completely transform how we heat our homes. We're talking about a material that's 200 times stronger than steel, but thin enough to be practically invisible under your flooring.
Hold on. You're saying we can heat an entire house with something thinner than a human hair? How does that even work?
So here's the incredible part. Graphene conducts heat so efficiently that when you run a low-voltage current through these ultra-thin sheets, they heat up almost instantly and distribute that warmth perfectly evenly across your entire floor surface.
But what makes this so different from the traditional underfloor heating systems that have been around for years?
Traditional systems operate at about 70 to 80% efficiency, meaning you're basically throwing away 20 to 30% of your energy costs right off the bat. These new graphene systems are achieving over 95% efficiency ratings in real-world testing, and they heat up in minutes instead of hours.
Those numbers are pretty impressive. But let's talk about what this means for the average homeowner's wallet.
Well, the data shows that homes using graphene heating systems are seeing energy bill reductions of 30 to 50% compared to traditional heating methods. And because there are no moving parts or maintenance requirements, you're saving on service costs too.
You know what really interests me about this? The environmental impact must be significant when you're talking about that level of efficiency improvement.
Exactly right. Studies show that if just 10% of homes in cold climate regions switch to this technology, we could reduce global residential carbon emissions by nearly 75 million tons annually. That's equivalent to taking about 16 million cars off the road.
That's huge. But let me play devil's advocate for a moment. What about the cost and complexity of installation?
So here's what's interesting about that. While the upfront cost is currently about 20 to 25% higher than traditional systems, the installation process is actually simpler. A typical room can be fitted in just 24 to 48 hours, and the system adds less than a millimeter to your floor height.
Well, that's much less disruptive than I would have expected. But what about safety? I mean, we're essentially talking about running electricity under our feet.
The safety engineering is pretty remarkable. These systems operate at just 24 volts compared to the 120 or 240 volts in your wall outlets. Plus, they include multiple redundant safety features like automatic shutoffs and real-time temperature monitoring.
So if we're looking at the bigger picture here, this seems like one of those rare innovations that doesn't force us to choose between comfort and environmental responsibility.
And that's just the beginning. These systems can be integrated with smart home technology to learn your habits and optimize heating patterns automatically. Some users are reporting up to 60% energy savings when combining graphene heating with smart controls.
That's fascinating because it suggests we're not just replacing old technology, we're fundamentally changing how we think about heating our spaces.
Exactly. And here's another interesting data point. In commercial buildings that have adopted this technology, workplace satisfaction scores have increased by an average of 32%, largely due to more consistent comfort levels throughout the day.
Those are compelling numbers, but what about long-term durability? How do we know this isn't just another tech fad?
The testing data is pretty remarkable. These systems have been subjected to accelerated life cycle testing, equivalent to 50 years of use, with no degradation in performance. Some manufacturers are so confident they're offering 25-year warranties, which is unprecedented in the heating industry.
You know what strikes me about all this? We're witnessing a perfect example of how materials science can solve everyday problems in ways we wouldn't have imagined possible even a decade ago.
And that's really the key takeaway here. We're not just making incremental improvements to existing technology, we're completely reimagining how we can heat our spaces more efficiently, sustainably, and comfortably. It's a glimpse into how innovation can transform even the most basic aspects of our daily lives.
It's such an important point about innovation. Sometimes the most impactful changes come from rethinking the fundamentals rather than just improving what already exists.
Looking ahead, this technology could be the catalyst for a broader transformation in how we approach energy efficiency in our homes. It's not just about heating anymore. It's about creating smarter, more sustainable living spaces for the future.